परिग्रहः शारीरं केवलं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम् यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टः द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते रतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म समग्रं स विधीयते ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्म हविः ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यम् ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिना दैवमेवापरे यज्ञम् योगिनः पर्युपासते ब्रह्माज्ञावपरे यज्ञम् यज्ञेनैवोपजुह्वति
To verse number 19, he says, he whose undertakings are free from desire and expectation, whose actions are burnt by the fire of knowledge, him the wise call a sage. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagda karmanam tamahu panditam buddhaha. The question is, what has the fire of knowledge burnt? Because he says, burnt by the fire of knowledge. What is burnt by the fire of knowledge? He puts it very clearly that actions are burnt by the fire of knowledge. No more actions driven by raga dvesha. Knowledge burns raga dvesha. What does knowledge burn? Generally we keep saying knowledge burns all actions, knowledge burns all actions. And then on the other hand we keep saying perform your obligatory actions. Now knowledge is burning all actions, then what is obligatory? Now that is where the confusion is. For which, what you need to understand is, when actions are burnt by the fire of knowledge means, what type of actions are burnt? Actions driven by raga dvesha is burnt. When all actions are completely burnt, that is liberation, moksha. He is not talking about moksha here. He is talking about actions burnt by the fire of knowledge. Knowledge doesn't burn obligatory actions. Knowledge comes and says, perform your obligatory actions. Then what actions are burnt by the fire of knowledge? Actions driven by raga and dvesha, desires. All actions driven by raga dvesha, fire of knowledge burns. You follow? So he says it very clearly. Actions are burnt by the fire of knowledge. What actions? Not all actions. It is actions driven by raga dvesha. How do you say that? A human being has a choice. At any point of time, a human being has a choice. The choice to do an obligatory action or the choice to do ragadvesha action. Knowledge guides him to make the right choice. He says no to ragadvesha actions and yes to obligatory actions. That is the difference. So knowledge says, whenever you say no to ragadvesha actions, you are burning it. Every time you say no to the actions driven by ragadvesha, you are burning it. Because actions are kept alive by you, desires are kept alive by you doing it again and again. How are desires maintained? How are desires sustained? Desires are maintained, desires are sustained by you constantly acting over it. So whenever you say no to it, the intensity of the desire keeps dying. The intensity of the desire keeps reducing. A time comes where it is completely burnt away. So what is burning means? Every time you say no to ragadvesha, actions driven by ragadvesha, you say no. Actions driven by obligations, you say yes. That is Karma Yoga. Whenever you do an action based on likes and dislikes, you promote your likes and dislikes. Whenever you do an action based on your obligation, the intensity of the likes and dislikes keeps coming down. You won't know that it is coming down. You won't know that it is coming down. Over a period of time only you will realize it. Every day if you keep taking a personality test check, இன்னைக்கு 10 வாட்டி நோ சொன்னா how much it would have reduced nalla, you can't understand it in that way. Over a period of time, it gradually, you can see a gradual reduction in the intensity of raga and dvesha. So what has the fire of knowledge burned? It has burnt actions driven by raga and dvesha. How it burns is because through understanding, knowledge says raga dvesha is an inimical to you. That's how it is burnt. Why you say no to it? What drives you to say no to raga dvesha? Knowledge. You say no to raga dvesha because you have understood vairinam, ditya vairinam, varipantinam, shatru. He has said it all in the previous chapters. Since you have understood that, you keep saying no to it. Without knowledge backing, if you simply keep saying no, that is frustration. That is why most of the people who practice discipline minus knowledge ends up getting frustrated. Carefully follow. There are people who practice discipline, but no knowledge backing it. They end up getting frustrated. Another set just to keep gaining more and more knowledge, and then they believe that the knowledge itself will guide them. Two pedals to grow. Shravana and Manana on one side, tapas on the other side. Two factors. You need to do both. Shravana, Manana on one side, tapas on the other side. இது சொல்லவே இல்லையா சார் இவ்வளோ நல்லா சவண மனனா பண்ணினே இருந்தாலே you keep growing na. So much of Shravana has been done, so much of Manana has been done, but growth has not yet happened. Why? Because tapas is not done. What is tapas? Saying no to raga dvesha is tapas. I eat only once a day. whole Shivaratri night I was awake. All this is not wrong, but these actions in themselves does not lead to anything. For tapas is saying no to ragadvesha. And what should drive you to say no? What drives you to say no? Knowledge. What is the knowledge? It is inimical. It is shatru. It is paripanti now. It is dangerous. 4 words he uses. No, I said those 4 words. He calls it as shatru. He calls it as vairina. He calls it as nitya vairina. Vairi, nitya vairi, shatru, paripanta. All this means only one thing. It is inimical. பட் ஆனால் அது பார்த்தா எனிமிக்கல் மாதிரியே தெரியலையே, இருந்தால் நல்லா தானே இருக்கு. ராகத்வேஷத்தோடு ஆக்ட் பண்ணும்போது இட் இஸ் ஆக்ட் ஆன் ராகத்வேஷா, இட் இஸ் so pleasant, it is so nice. Where does it seem to be? Where does it appear to be inimical? That is where you need the help of the Shastras to come and say that it is inimical. By yourself you will not. By yourself you can never know it. By yourself you can never know it. Those who have understood, they come and say, these four are the enemies, and say no to them. அது எனிமீஸ்னு புரிஞ்சுக்காம நோ சொன்னா ஃப்ரஸ்ட்ரேஷன் தான். எனிமீஸ்னு புரிஞ்சுட்டு நோ சொன்னா இட் இஸ் growth. ஞானாக்னி தக்த கர்மாணம், ஞான அக்னி, burnt by the fire of knowledge. What is burnt by the fire of knowledge? Actions are burnt by the fire of knowledge. What actions are burnt? Ragadvesha actions. In fact, whole Gita message to Arjuna is that you came into the battlefield with Ragadvesha, eliminate your Ragadvesha and continue to fight as an obligation. Action is the same. Fighting and action. Adula onnum change கிடையாது. He is not saying change to different action. Fighting is the action. But what is driving that fight? Ragadvesha or obligations. So all actions, externally it will be the same. Fighting is still the same. But then what makes the difference is, what are you allowing it to drive? Are you allowing Ragadvesha to drive, or you are allowing obligations to drive? You follow? Now obligations, I am not going into the discussion because we have discussed enough about all the obligations and what it is and how do you understand what obligations are. I am not getting into that again. Obligations, you say yes to, no to Raga and Dvesha. Is it okay? The first question. Question number 2. In the context of discussing Sharira Buddhi and Jiva Buddhi, in the context, I think 3 weeks back, I don't know when I said it, the distinction between Sharira Buddhi and Jiva Buddhi, in the context of that analysis, I said, nature wipes out the Sharira memory, but it doesn't wipe out the karma. Nature wipes out the Sharira memory, it doesn't wipe out the karma. Question is, what is this two? What is this karma memory and what is this Sharira memory? To put it very simply, when the question is asked, who are you? Not in this classroom. The classroom lallam tappan answer da. When any question that is asked in this classroom, people answer better than Shankaracharya himself. They are not in this classroom. Outside the classroom, who are you? Now what do you say? Instinctively, instantaneously. That determines what buddhi you have. Sharira buddhi or jiva buddhi. What is Sharira Bhava means? Sharira Buddhi means birth of the body is birth of you, death of the body is death of you. Not only you believe about yourself like that, you believe about others also in the same way. Birth of the body is the birth of the person, death of the body is death of the person. Clear? So all that is associated with the Sharira goes with that. Please understand, Sharira means not physical. Sharira Bhava, Sharira Buddhi doesn't mean you are a physical person. Your understanding about life is in relation to this Sharira, and nothing exists beyond that. This is called Sharira Buddhi. Vedanta comes and says, you are not the Sharira, you are this Jiva. The Jiva who has occupied this Sharira, the Jiva who has occupied this Sharira and leaves this Sharira. Occupies the Sharira for a purpose. When the purpose of occupation is fulfilled, moksha, it leaves the Sharira, purpose is fulfilled, therefore it leaves the Sharira, don't say. If I asked this question 15 times in this classroom, everybody said, linguistically only you all think. Thinking is purely linguistic. You need to penetrate deeper. So when does the Jiva leaves the body? Not when the purpose is fulfilled. It leaves the Sharira when the Sharira is no more useful. When the Sharira is no more useful, which that Jiva can understand, others attached to that body can never understand. Others who are attached to the body can never understand that. How can a parent understand the child? How can a parent understand that the child left the body, died? Because this body is not serving the purpose anymore. No, which parent can it is impossible for them to digest this, conceive it. Whether you are able to conceive or not, this is the truth. What is it? The Sharira entered the Jiva entered the Sharira without asking you. Can I be born to you and the child is born? The Jiva enters the Sharira without taking your consent. Correct. Right word. Consent. It enters without taking your consent, and it leaves also without taking your consent. Agamapayino nityaha tamti tikshasva bharata. இதெல்லாம் சொல்றதுக்கு பிரமாணம் என்ன? verse number 11 to 17, chapter 2. Agamapayino nityaha tamti tikshasva Bharata. These come and go. Agama Payinaha, they come and go and they are permanent. Irukra varaikku you have to, as long as it is there, you need to deal with it. And how do you deal with it? Practice. Titiksha Sona Rupa will get ready. One person has a problem with one word here. Okay. Like rose give fragrance, Meera will get angry. Practice Titiksha, Rupa gets angry. Practice Tapasana, Chitra will get angry. Over a period of time, after a while, you can't say any word. Maunama, like Dakshinamurti, we come and sit and then we leave. When it leaves, when the jiva enters the sharira, what drives that entry? Since you don't know what drives that entry, you are not able to understand what drives the exit. You don't know what drove the entry. You assume that they wanted you, that's why they came to you. Every parent believes that the children wanted them and they chose. That is your wrong. That is your wrong assumption. That is your wrong understanding. The jiva, what helps the jiva to enter the sharira? It's karma. What drives the exit? The same karma. Nature does, this is a statement I made. No answer ke varla. Question explain panninga. Nature does a wonderful help by allowing the sharira memory to get erased, wiped out. The sharira memory gets wiped out. That is why when the child is born, it comes with a fresh sharira memory. Imagine if you come with your past memory, life will be utterly chaotic. Thank God nature does it. Sometimes I feel detachment becomes very easy. What is sharira memory? All that is associated with the sharira is sharira memory. What is sharira memory means? This name, son of so and so, having got this qualification, lived a wonderful life of helping others, got married, produced a child, having fulfilled all my obligations, karmas, idalla sharira memory. When the person dies, all this vanishes. What is karma memory? The sharirataala ivvalo karyam பண்ணும்போது, the attitude with which these karmas are done, that is karma memory, that continues. If I have been doing these actions with a very selfish, self-interested, in a very negative way, that will carry. If I have done this in a very unselfish, sacrificial way, that will carry. Vedanta comes and says, you don't pay attention to that which comes with you. Your entire focus is on that which is not going to come with you. Your entire lifetime is spent on what? Your lifetime is spent on that which is not going to come with you. What is not going to come with you? The Sharira memory. The acquisitions that happens through the Sharira. What happens, what all you have acquired through the Sharira is not going to come with you. With what attitude you did all this, that will come with you. Therefore, what you should do? Therefore, what you should do, as you are doing actions now, do it with the right attitude. As a karma memory and Sharira memory. Poetically they say the punya and papa comes with you. The karma memory is technical word. A more layperson's way of explaining the same thing is only the papa and the combined papa and punya is that which comes with you. Abdina, pay attention to your papa and punya. And then we go one step deeper than that also and say, no, don't worry so much about the papa and punya also, because Ikavasya Upanishad has said, Kshine punye. This punya also will get exhausted very soon. Kshine punye mrityu lokam. Once the punya is gone, you come back. Therefore, you acquire, enjoy the benefits. You acquire, enjoy the benefits, back to square one. You acquire, enjoy the benefits, back to square one. Idalla. Don't keep doing this again and again. How to educate a person to move for moksha? What logic and reason will convince you to aspire for moksha? The difference between Sharira Buddhi and Jiva Buddhi. If you don't understand that you are a Jiva, you will never aspire for moksha. Liberation. Moksha means liberation. Sharira Buddhi, Jiva Buddhi confusion. Now, what is moksha angaradu? What is moksha angaradu? Still more confusion. Clear? Ipa immediate moksha 8:45 sir. 8:45 ki class mudidro. Immediate moksha is 8:45. Moksha starts from, moksha can start from anything. And then a lot of debates goes on between what is moksha, what is not moksha, and whose moksha is right, whose moksha is wrong. All these kids. What is the starting point? You are not the Sharira, you are the Jiva. And what is the nature of the Jiva? Nameless. I said this. The nature of the Jiva is nameless, genderless entity. Just a bundle of desires. That's why it's called Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. All along what we have been calling a subtle body is what is known as Jiva. It is a subtle body that enters the gross body and leaves. It is a subtle body that enters for a purpose, and when that purpose is not fulfilled, purpose is fulfilled, it is moksha. It doesn't leave because purpose is fulfilled. It leaves because It leaves because that purpose is not fulfilled. Like, I rent a house. This is the exact words that he uses in the Gita himself. Yeah. It's like you rent a house. You leave the house because you rent the house and you leave the house. Why you leave the house? Because I bought a new house, sir. It didn't satisfy your needs, or your needs have changed. Either it didn't satisfy your needs or your needs have changed. So you leave this and go to another house. What is the big issue over birth, or what is the big issue over death? Birth is not exciting, death is not. Birth doesn't excite, death doesn't produce sorrow. Because you understand karma memory and sharira memory. It's just two words, I just used two words. Karma memory and sharira memory. Sharira memory means that which is associated with this, that all that is associated with this sharira. The vasanas come into the body. The vasanas occupy the body, and when the purpose of it is not fulfilled, it leaves this body and takes up new body. When it takes up new body, it doesn't carry the memory of the previous body. It doesn't carry the memory of the previous body. If it carries the memory of the previous body, now what will happen? Clear? My father passed away some time back. If he still continues to carry that memory, suddenly another sharira may enter my house and say, I am your father. Manushya shariram varla it is. Appave it is confusing only. Imagine it becomes another sharira, and it comes and says, I am your father. Now what will happen? What will happen? Drive the sharira out of the house. Insanity. This is called sharira memory. So when you die, when a person dies, what happens? Nature helps. What is the help of the nature? The sharira memory gets erased. But what is left behind? The karmas are left behind. The karmas means the attitude with which you are doing your actions. The attitude with which you have been doing all your actions, that is left behind. All this detailed explanation is given for what purpose? To confuse your understanding that you are so convinced that you are this sharira. You are so convinced that you are the sharira. How to even plant a suspicion that you are not that? So much of explanation has to be given to plant a doubt that maybe I am not this. Maybe I am not this sharira. You got it? Nature helps in wiping that out. It is the jiva that enters the sharira, and it is the jiva that leaves the sharira. It is the jiva that enters the sharira, and it is the jiva that leaves the sharira. Like Patamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani grannati naroparani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samvati navani dehi. Yes, it is. Like the man discards the worn out garments and picks on new ones, this jiva keeps doing this. Arjuna, you are not the jiva, and the jivan is a temporary name is the nameless, genderless entity ki temporary name is called Arjuna. What are you worrying about? Yeah. Vijayendradhu, the temporary name and form acquired by the jiva. Acquired by the jiva. You are Vijayana, you are so convinced that you are Vijay. It's not the name. What it means is when you understand that it is jivas all around, what goes out? The possessiveness goes out. Detachment goes out. When detachment goes out, what exists? When detachment goes out, what exists? Obligations exist. That's how it goes. Attachment goes out. Attachment goes out. What remains? Obligation remains. My body, my acquisition, my family, my children, my son, my daughter, that mindness goes out. Because you have never possessed that jiva. How can you say mine? If you have been the owner of that jiva, you can say mine. But you are not the owner of the jiva. Therefore, you calling it as mine has no meaning. But I am the one who is taking care, no? But I am the one who is doing everything, no? And I am the one who did everything, no? Yes. All along you are doing it because of your raga and dvesha. All along you have been doing it because of your raga and dvesha. Now you take care of your family, you take care of your children, you take care of everything with the right understanding that it is not yours. As long as you are an occupant in the sharira, you have some obligations. As long as you are an occupant in the sharira, you have some obligations. Perform this and keep moving. Are you okay till now? Atma in the sense of individual. If you take Atma to mean the supreme reality, it is not. The individual. Atma means the individual. All are synonyms. Jiva, Atma, subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, all these are synonyms. I am specifically using the word Jiva because the word Jiva doesn't have any other meaning. The word Atma has very meanings. Lot of meanings it has. Don't walk through that street in the night. Naraya Atma Sangarkanna. They say that, no? Nare Atma Gargana, what do they mean? So Atma can mean ghost also. Atma means the individual also. Atma means the Supreme Self also. That's why I'm deliberately, specifically using the word Jiva, because in the word Jiva, no other meaning exists. That's why I'm deliberately using the word Jiva. But then you are right. Synonymously you can use, or interchangeably you can use anything. Seriya? Prasad. Yes. 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 That is why even the scripture knowledge is part of the Sharira. That is why when you die, you will forget the scriptures also. Karma memory. That is why I said very clearly, karma memory. The attitude with which I did this only carries forward. When we say the scriptural knowledge carries forward, it is not the memory of the Gita verses. Like I have memorized some shastras, I have memorized some textbooks, I have memorized some concepts. When I die, this memory will not come, because this is also part of the same. This is also part of the same Sharira only. So we can't say even the Shastric knowledge as in the verses, the explanation, all that will carry forward. No. It doesn't say that. It says the combined aggregate of Papa and Punya, as in a very general term, technically the karma memory. That is why it is so subtle that we don't know. It is so subtle, we don't know what it is. We are not able to grasp it, what it is. That is why here in this classroom, we keep repeatedly saying, it's not about the memory of the scriptures. It's not being a scholar or a pandit. Nahi rakshati dukran karne. Vajagovindam, vajagovindam, vajagovindam. Udamate samprapte sannihite kale nahi rakshati dukran karne. Even this knowledge will not come with you. Abdina, what is going to come? Not the knowledge as in the shlokas, not the knowledge as in the explanations, the words. Idella varadu. What will come then? What will come then? With what attitude you have? Because karma means in this context, in the context of Sharira memory and Jiva memory, karma here means, specifically I am using the word karma as in the attitude. Attitude with which you do. If you do it with the right attitude, a sense of detachment comes. That sense of detachment carries forward. In that sense, knowledge means detachment and a knowledge comes with you.
So with that attitude, forward can be helpful to the right environment.
Yes.
And right direction.
Yes. To put it very simply, if I have evolved to 40% detachment and I die, I will not start with zero detachment. I will start from 40. As a karma memory. I didn't want to put it so grossly. Now that it is too confusing, I am putting it. When you die with 20% detachment, you will be born with 20% detachment. That detachment is what is called as knowledge. Knowledge comes with you now. If you have misunderstood it as the verses will come with you now, no. Verses will not come with you. what will come with you? The detachment. That's where you find so many people born with very high level of detachment from birth. Just one or two words, one or two things triggers them. Yeah. In the recent history, we know the life of Ramana Maharshi, no? He was playing in his house. Those are the days where the Tirtha Yatra people will go, they will come and give prasad to every house. If you go on a tour, Tirtha Yatra, what you should do? You will get prasad. Yeah. America pona chocolate kondu kudura madri. Yeah. America pona chocolate kondu kudukanum. Middle East pona dates kondu kudukanum. Yeah, adella mannakudadu. Adella kudukuradhula prayojaname illa. Therefore, if you go, you take the temple prasad and you go and give it to everybody. Yeah, that's the culture. So, one day one visitor came and gave the prasad in Ramana's house. So, the person asked, in the koil and in the prasadam, he said, Arunachala. Till today, millions are going to Arunachala thinking that there is something mystical there. Anga poi irukra pollution pantu varudha. Nothing stirs you up from inside. That one word triggered that memory in him. That one word triggered that memory in him. Straight moksha. That one word is enough. Adha karma. The detachment was so high, just waiting for that one, the right time, the right situation. It comes and catapults that person to the next level. Millions have been hearing the word Arunachala. Millions have visited Arunachala. Okay, inga irukra people, I assume everybody would have gone at least a few times. But nothing, we come back with the same. We come back with the same worry, we come back with the same anxiety, we come back with the same attachment. It happened to Buddha, no? Just that one experience. He asked the first time he came out of the palace. Because when he was born, the astrologer said he is going to be the king of ascetics. He is going to be the king of ascetics. King of ascetics, na Tyaga Raja nartha. Raja, the king. Tyaga, one who has renounced. The Tyaga Raja. He is going to be the king of renunciates. The father said, Kashtam urtadana renunciation varum. Yeah, how silly is the father thinking? Father thought, Kashtam urtadana renunciation varum. Another kastame kudukudadu. Don't give that boy any. Give him all the comforts. To an extent where, before he wakes up in the morning, the garden will be cleaned. So that he sees only, he will never see in his life, he has not seen a dead leaf. Because even before he is awake, the garden has to be cleaned. One day he was crowned Yuvaraja. Now the father is very convinced. What is the conviction? He is crowned to the Yuvaraja. Enough indulgences has been given to him, and he is married, also, and the child is going to be born abada. Inime enna tyagam varum? Because attachment is complete. That day that father relaxed and said, Vella poda. The father went, the king went. Buddha called to the charioteer and said, now that the father is not there, let's go out. For drive poitu varalam. Charioteer said, no, I can't take you, because the instruction is, you should not be taken out of the palace. Buddha said, Appo Buddha illa, he was only the Siddhartha, the prince. Siddhartha said, You know I am the Yuvaraja. Tomorrow I am going to be the king. First order I will sign is your dismissal. Charioteer said, doesn't matter what happens to you. I don't want my position. I don't want to lose my job. Come. He went on a round. We are also driving every day, no? The Sharira memory and Karma memory. We are also driving around everywhere. We also see dead bodies. We also see all this. Yes. How many funerals we have attended? Till date. Nothing has stirred, no? Buddha, Siddhartha Prince came. He saw a man coughing. First time he seeing in his life, first time he seeing a sickly person. He said, what is he doing? He said, he is sick. Sick? He didn't know that you will get sick. Siddhartha asked, will I get sick? He said, you will get sick, I will get sick, everybody will get sick. In the matter of foolish prince is going to become our king. Come. Continue. He said, okay, continue. He saw an old man, shivering and shaking, half bent, holding himself with the stick. He said, what happened to this man now? He said, old age. Old age? Yavana Garbham, no? 16. Yavana Garbham. He said, old age? Will I get old? Will you get old? I am already old. Shave bunny. We don't show it out. You are old, I am old. Everybody gets old. Siddhartha said, continue. And then he saw the climax. He saw a funeral procession. When he saw the funeral procession, he asked, why are 4 men carrying a sleeping man? Are you able to follow? He is saying, why are 4 men carrying a sleeping man? Sleep, that is called death. That man is dead. He heard the word death. He said, let's go back. What is death? That charioteer is a very learned scholar. The charioteer is a very learned scholar. So he asked the charioteer, what is death? You don't know what death is? All born will die. We also keep saying that, no? All born will die. All born will die. If you know that you are going to die now, you will be a changed person right now. What is death? Death you don't know. Very simple. The charioteer was very scholarly. Maybe father of Dupran Karne. He was very scholarly. He said, what is death? See, every day, Prince, you go to sleep in this body and wake up in this body, same body. What is death? One day, you will go to sleep in this body and wake up in another body. How about death? What are you worried about? Let's go back, he said. Let's go back. They went back. That night, Siddhartha left. What is the difference? Are you able to follow? What is the difference? This is the difference of Sharira memory and Karma. So what you should attend to, what you should pay attention in life. Don't worry about the Sharira, worry about the detachment. Karma means the knowledge. What is the knowledge? All knowledge boils down to one word. All Vedantic knowledge boils down to one word. And that one word is the most frightening word. Called detachment. Another word for Vedanta is sannyasa. Another word for Vedanta is vairagya. Yeah. So sannyasanga word kuda use panna mudiyadhu indha class la. Shekhar gets angry. One word person gets angry na how to conduct the class. Say where are purusa varuvaanganu paartha adu அதுவும் நடக்க மாட்டேன்றது. Only you have come today. Poor man. He came and he stuck now. This is called karma memory and sharira memory. It's just like the titration example. That drop completely changes. The entire dimension is changed. Entire personality is changed. He didn't go to any study class, he didn't go anywhere, he didn't do anything, just that one word Arunachala triggered him completely. Adukosara ellarum anga poi ukandha nothing will nothing will happen, for it is not that place. Buddha got enlightened under that Bodhi tree. It's a very ordinary tree. It's an ordinary tree means it is like any one of the trees here. You take a branch of the tree, come and put it in your garden and grow the tree, and you sit under the tree. Now moksha will not come. Why? Because you don't have that. You have not done enough work to get there. What does that work means? Saying no to raga dvesha and saying yes to obligations. In all the past shariras, they have done that to perfection. So in the sharira, the memory comes. You follow? Later on in one of the chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks this question to Krishna. Suddenly if I die, what will happen? Halfway through, I am listening to you, I am doing all this, Krishna. Suddenly if I die, what will happen? Nahi kalyana krit kaschet durgatim tata gacchati. Nahi kalyana krit means doer of good. Kalyana means marriage illa. Kalyana means good, welfare. It's good. The word kalyana means good. It doesn't mean, today we think kalyana means marriage, no. Adu bandha, adu good illa. Kalyana means good. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata durgati. Durgati will not come to you, Arjuna, if you practice swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahado bayat. You should know how to connect. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Kalyana kritna, what is this kalyana krit? How do I do this kalyana krit? What does this kalyana krit means? Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bayat. Little bit of this dharma you practice. Arjuna. What is this dharma? Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Dharma. Niyatam kuru. First is karma kuru. Karma kuru. Adan naanga already பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோமே சார். Maybe நீங்க தான் நிறைய பண்றது இல்ல. Compared to you, we are doing lot of karma. Niyatam. So to make it clear, he says niyatam karma. When you keep doing that, a detachment develops. So when this jiva leaves the sharira and takes up another sharira, what it carries? The intensity of the proportion of attachment, detachment it carries. If you die with a lot of attachment, you will go to another sharira and gets attached to that sharira. Just as you got attached to this sharira because you didn't have this knowledge. Now develop this knowledge. Now understand this knowledge. Is it okay?
They also they refer refer to their old Dhamma, you are this time with old Dhamma and all this. Is this for specific reasons that is like that?
It's the same thing. See, what he is saying is, in Puranic stories, we hear the story of the Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, Kamsa and Shishubala and Dattavartana. Whoever got 222. Who are they? They were the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, and when the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, adilla avangilta. What they didn't have, because they thought they are the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, they developed an arrogance. They got attached to the Sharira. Gatekeepers of Vaikuntha were Sharira, and the Sharira they got attached. For that attachment, the punishment is you have to be born as Asuras. Very clear. Concepts do not. Concepts don't change. They develop the arrogance. What is the arrogance? Vishnu Abhakna Kuda, you need my permission. Vishnu said, and the power I never gave you that power. You assumed it by, unnecessarily you assumed it by yourself, and you pay the price for that. Now I am not getting into the Puranic story, the details of the Puranic story. I am only saying the concept is the same. Yes, because they got attached to, that's what I said. They would have worked so hard to come to that height and got attached there. It doesn't matter where you get attached to, attachment means you will fall. But Vishnu Kittadan attachment ache, Shiva Kittadan attachment ache, doesn't matter with what you are attached to. The very quality of attachment is the downfall. You follow? Since we have a wrong understanding about detachment, we are so convinced that it is running away, that is why we are so worried about detachment from God. How can we get detached from God, sir? How can we run away from God? It means detachment means you have understood it as? Detachment means you have understood it as still running away. That is why detached from God, you will ask, how can you get detached from God? Start running away from God. How can you run away from God? Okay, where can you run away? For wherever you go? Yeah. Adan the Kenopanishad, running race Madri. Wherever you go, He is there already. When Nanak went to Mecca, he started praying. Now, for them, the direction matters. You can't pray in any direction. You have to pray only in the direction of the Mecca, west. Other than they have a special compass also. They have a special compass and they carry it with them. Wherever they go, it will show the direction of the Mecca and they will start return. Yes, another they carry a special compass. Compass. Yes, it will point exactly the direction of Mecca. Correct? Emirates flight lo pona comes near. I used to see that all the time. When you go, when you one direction comes near, when you cross over and go to the other side, it changes. Mecca, it shows that. Now, Nanak was praying in the opposite direction. They say, how can you pray opposite direction? Nanak said, whichever direction I see, He is there already. He said, you are not a devout Muslim. Are you able to follow? Attachment means attachment to a form. Attachment means attachment to a name, attachment to a form. Whatsoever you get attached to, you pay the price. If you are attached to God, you pay the price of being attached to God. What is the price you pay? What is the price you pay? You will be separated from God. Just as these two got separated from God. Yeah. அங்க என்ன புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்? அந்த Quranic story சொல்ற யாருக்குமே they don't know this concept. If you get attached to God, you will be separated from God. காடுக்கு கூடவானா அட்டாச்மெண்ட்னுடைய கான்சிக்வன்சஸ். அட்டாச்மெண்ட் என்ன இருக்கிற கான்சிக்வன்ஸ் அது. whatsoever you are attached to, you will be separated. அந்த செப்பரேஷன் எப்படி இருக்கும்? பெயின்ஃபுல் செப்பரேஷன். அதுதான் அட்டாச்மெண்ட். இட் won't be a pleasant separation. பைன்னு சொல்லிட்டு போற அந்த செப்பரேஷன் கிடையாது. You will be literally thrown away, living in mental abuses. You follow? சரியா? Is it okay? The Sharira memory and Karma memory. Karma memory is 2. Karma memory is of 2. One is how ignorant you are, how knowledgeable you are. It's always this combination. Karma memory na rendu da. Ignorance and knowledge. Ignorance na attachment, likes and dislikes. Knowledge na detachment. Karma memory na rendu. What will come with you? You have a tendency to get attached to. That's ignorance. That comes with you. Are you able to follow now? I am waiting to kadasila sonadam purindadana. I built it up so much. What will come with you na? The object of attachment will not come with you. You have developed a tendency to get attached. That will come with you. The tendency to get attached is called ignorance. Are you able to follow? Opposite of that is detachment. So what comes with you? What does the karma memory means? The combination of your attachment and detachment. If you are 30% detached, then correct. அப்படி புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். Imagine you have grown 30%. அப்பாடான்னு இருக்கக்கூடாது. Imagine you have grown 30%. இன்னும் என்ன இருக்குது? 70% attachment. Imagine you have grown 70%. அப்பாடான்னு இருக்கக்கூடாது. இன்னும் 30%. அப்படின்னா கடைசி வரைக்கும் ஓய்வே இல்லையா? இதுதான் சார் இங்கெல்லாம் வரவே கூடாதுன்றது. ஏதோ நிம்மதியா இருக்கலாம்னு கிளாஸுக்கு வந்தா அந்த கஷ்டத்தோட உங்க கஷ்டம் பெருசா இருக்குது. சரீர கஷ்டமாவது ஒரு சரீரத்தோட போயிடுன்னு பார்த்தா உங்க கஷ்டம் கண்டினியூஸ் ஃப்ரம் இல்லையா? யூ வில் கண்டினியூ டு ஹாண்ட் இன் அனதர் ஜென்மா ஆல்சோ. அனதர் ஜென்மாவில் இதே மாதிரி ஒரு கிளாஸ், இதே மாதிரி ஒரு ஸ்பீக்கர்னா ஐயோ ராமா வேணவே வேணானாலும் சொல்லணும் இல்லையா? அட்லீஸ்ட் that should wake you up, Ganesh. சரியா? ஒரு சரிமா சொல்றேன். He is saying yes also. Another Janma, another Sunday class, another Aravindan, Ayyo Rama, Porunu you should. Are you able to follow? What is karma memory? In you, there is the tendency to get attached. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you will get attached. So whatever sharira you take, you will be attached to you will be attached to that sharira. Whatever sharira you take, you will get attached to that sharira. That is what is called punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam, iha samsare, bahudustare, kripaya pare, pahi murare. Are you able to follow? So wherever you go, you carry the tendency in you to get attached. Are you able to follow? According to your raga dvesha, you will get attached to some in particular. You will not get attached to everything. Unga raga dveshathukku eta madri, you will get attached to some in particular. So if you are getting attached to some, now what does it mean? Your raga dvesha is catered to there. That is why when you have the tendency to get attached to any person you see, you will not get attached. You will get attached to a particular person, no? Why that particular person alone? You have the tendency to get attached and you have the raga dvesha. That combination of the tendency to get attached and raga dvesha is looking for, scanning everybody and looking for, and then it will, my daughters, my daughter, it will hold on to. Student, Ganesha Pata Puri student Vanave Raga Dvesha, attraction and repulsion. Attraction and repulsion. Raga and Dvesha. You get attracted to some naturally, you get repulsed about some. I am just using the English word natural. It's a wrong word to use. It is, you look for that in specific and get attached to that. So attachment as a tendency you have. If attachment as a tendency you have, why don't you get attached to anything and everything that you meet? Something of your raga dvesha is attached to. Something of your raga dvesha is catered to. So you get. So what is karma memory now? The proportion of attachment detachment plus raga dvesha. So karma memory is how you entered this body, and the rendoda you entered this body, and when you leave this body, and the proportion of vandadu plus what I did in this sharira. அப்படியே நியூட்ரலா வெளில போனா கவலை இல்ல. இல்லையா? அப்படியே நியூட்ரலா வெளில போனா கவலை இல்ல. இதோட வந்துட்டு plus what I do in this sharira. So in this sharira, அதுதான் மனுஷ்யானாம் ஜந்தூனாம் துர்லபம் தேசி. This manushya janma is so difficult to get. In the janmala, in the sharirala, there is an opportunity. What is the opportunity? To get. And the proportion of மாத்திரத்துக்கு உண்டான choice இருக்குதுங்க, capacity இருக்குது. The Veda says, Jantunam, of all the jantus, Manushya is Durlabha. Durlabha means very difficult to get. Having got that which is very difficult to get, if you don't make use of it, Yacheta Vedi, Adasatyamasti, Acheti Havedi, Mahati Vinashti. Kenopanishad. Yacheta Vedi, Adasatyamasti, Acheti Havedi, Mahati Vinashti. It is not an ordinary loss, but it is a supreme most loss of all the losses. இல்லையா? நஷ்டத்திலேயே பெரிய நஷ்டம், எல்லாம் நஷ்டம் தான், அதுலேயே பெரிய நஷ்டம். வாட் இஸ் இட்? you go with added up tendency to get attached and added up raga dvesha. So difficult to communicate this. How can you communicate this? You understand, you follow it, and you can help yourself. That's all. You cannot communicate this to anybody else. Even here, it is so difficult to communicate that you are a Jiva. How difficult it is to communicate. Why? The combination of the tendency to get attached plus raga and dvesha. You have a tendency to get attached and you go along with your raga and dvesha. That is why you don't get attached to anything and everything. At the same time, you don't have a aversion to everything either. Your aversion is also in particular, your attraction is also in particular, and attachment happens to both of them. So what is karma memory now? The tendency to get attached, the intensity of the vairagya you have developed, plus raga and dvesha. இந்த மூணு தான் கூட வரப்போகுது அப்படின்னா இந்த மூணுத்துல ரெண்டு கூட வரக்கூடாது, ஒன்னு வரணும். மூணு வரும். என்ன இந்த மூணு? இந்த மூணு வரும். மனுஷ்ய ஜென்மால யூ கேன் மேக் ஷுவர் தட் அந்த ரெண்டு வரக்கூடாது, இன்னொன்னு வரும். If you are really grown in understanding, you will say another ஜென்மாவே வேணாம். இத்தோட I will stop with this sharira I will stop everything. You can't get greedy about that again. இதோட எப்படி சார் ஸ்டாப் பண்றதுன்னா you have to get detached now. Detachment முடியலன்னா you have to do lot of karma and go through the process. This is what I said as the sharira buddhi and jiva buddhi. When it leaves one sharira and takes up another sharira, it carries some memory, some it doesn't carry. What it carries? Moon it carries. What are the three? Tendency to get attached, how much of detachment you have developed, and the raga dvesha. The raga dvesha kuda varundradhu da unfulfilled desires come with you. What is raga dvesha? Raga dvesha is nothing but unfulfilled desires. That is why we say in English, unfulfilled desires come with you. Fulfilled desires என்ன ஆகும்? அட்டாச்மெண்டா மாறிடும். Fulfilled desires என்ன ஆகும்? Zero ஆகாது. Fulfilled desires will turn into an attachment as in wanting it more and more. Tendency to attach will get more. That's how you are caught in this vicious cycle. In the vicious cycle and வெளில வரதுக்கு வழி இருக்கா? Vedanta says yes, it is possible. It explains through logic and reason, it explains through the life of the great masters, it explains through how the mind works. They try in all possible methods. எவ்வளவு possible method explain பண்ணாலும் we stay Padmapatra, like Padmapatra Ivambasa, we stay. Padmapatra Ivambasa na lotus leaf on water, world of the Irungona, we live like that with God. Padmapatra Ivambasa, in relation to God we practice. Knowledge comes and says, practice that Padmapatra Ivambasa in relation to God. How can you do that? Understand that you are the Jiva, and the Jiva has occupied this Sharira. If you are the Jiva who has occupied this Sharira, who is the person sitting next to you? Another Jiva occupied another Sharira. Idhula poi attach arthuk enna irukudhu? But then if you see it like that only, you will get detached. First you have to see it in yourself, and then you see it in another. What is seeing it in another? Another Jiva occupied another Sharira. எப்படி நான் யாரும் கேட்காம உள்ள வந்து கொஞ்ச நாள் இருந்துட்டு வெளில போறேனோ அதே மாதிரி that Jiva has occupied that Sharira without asking anybody, will enter and it will leave without taking consent from உள்ள வரத்துக்கும் it doesn't take permission, வெளில போறதுக்கும் it doesn't say tata, it doesn't say all that. Oh, tata bye bye சொன்னாருன்னா that is your hallucination. Nobody says bye like that and all and leaves. The Jiva simply enters and the Jiva simply leaves. Just as you are attached to this Sharira, you means the Jiva attached to this Sharira, that Jiva is attached to that Sharira. So, ரெண்டு attached bodies relate பண்ணா எப்படி இருக்கும்? பார்க்கறதுக்கே கொஞ்சம் கேவலமா இருக்கும், பார்க்கறதுக்கே கொஞ்சம் அசிங்கமா இருக்கும். That is what the vulgarity of attachment is. It's what the vulgarity of attachment. We don't see it. Not only we don't see that as vulgar, we take it to be positive also. வல்கர்னு புரிஞ்சுக்காம இருந்தா கூட பரவாயில்ல, அதுதான். That is what is misunderstood as right. That's where Vedanta comes and says, you are all attached. Everybody is attached. Last, with which I conclude. A person can talk about detachment and still be attached. As I am giving a wonderful explanation on detachment, I can still be attached. Angada you understand how powerful it is. A person can give a wonderful explanation on detachment and still be extremely attached. The power of that ignorance, the power of that ajnana, the power of that maya, any word you can use, is so powerful. அவ்வளோ பவர்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கிறத டீல் பண்ணணும்னா அவ்வளோ பவர்ஃபுல் புத்தி வேணும். That much of strong buddhi is required to deal with such a strong ajnana, ignorance. You can call it ajnanam, you can call it ignorance, you can call it maya, you can use any word. But what it means is, a person who can talk about detachment can be attached. Now what do you do after that? A person who is talking about detachment is attached. Now what will you do? Not for you to criticize others, I am saying this only to explain the aspect of how powerful is this attachment. How powerful is this attachment? Indication of attachment. In ஒரு இடத்துல மைண்ட் உட்கார, அதான் இண்டிகேஷன் ஆஃப். இங்க உட்கார்ந்து எங்கெங்கயோ சுத்தின்னு இருக்கும். அது எங்கெல்லாம் சுத்தின்னு இருக்கும் இல்ல, சரீரம் இங்க தானே இருக்கு. சரீரம் ஒரு இடத்துலயும் சுத்தல, ஒரே புத்தர் மாதிரி இருக்கு, ஒரே இடத்துல அது உட்கார்ந்து அப்படியே இருக்கு. பாக்குறதுக்கு அப்போ வாட்டர் டிவைன் சோல் சிட்டிங்கிற மாதிரி தான் இருக்குது. மைண்ட் அதுக்குள்ள கலிபோர்னியாவா கேட்கல, போஸ்டன், அங்க போயிட்டு சரீரம் மட்டும் போயிட்டு வரல, மைண்டும் போயிட்டு வருதுன்னா அட்டாச்மெண்ட் இஸ் Attachment is stationed there. Attachment is stationed. You follow? So, what will come? Intensity of attachment. Raga Dvesha. Vairagya. Knowledge ஜாஸ்தி இருக்குன்னா என்ன இருக்கும்? இந்த ரெண்டுத்தினுடைய ப்ரொபோர்ஷன் கம்மியா இருக்கும், டிட்டாச்மெண்ட் ஜாஸ்தியா இருக்கும். அப்படி இருந்தா ஞானம் இஸ் மோர். இது ரெண்டுத்தினுடைய ப்ரொபோர்ஷன் ஜாஸ்தி இருந்து டிட்டாச்மெண்ட் ப்ரொபோர்ஷன் கம்மி இருந்தா ignorance. அதுதான் ignorance and knowledge. This is what is called ignorance and knowledge. It is this combination of ignorance and knowledge that carries forward. Not the memory of the scriptures. It's words. It's just words. That's why detachment is a word to a fellow who is attached. No, it's a word. He can give a wonderful lecture on detachment and still he can get attached. Now what does it mean? Detachment is just a word. That's why in all the lectures Swami uses example, no? Hamlet. Words. It is all. Words are not knowledge. Words doesn't mean knowledge. Knowledge means through that word you have taken, did manana, did experiment with it, digested, come to your own conclusion about it is called knowledge. Just words மட்டும் தான் அது memory. அது சரீர memory. Okay? சரியா? Ravi, next week. Huh? Friday. எங்க அது இல்லை.